Welcome to Black Box Podcast. Hello there! I'm your host Gargi and this is Secret Stories, where we talk about things you cannot talk about. So, without any further delay, let me take you to the world of confessions, where you will hear some unbelievable stories based on real life confessions of people around you. Episode 1. Who am I? I pulled up the car in front of her house. She looked at me and came closer. "Wanna come in?" she whispered. "Sure," I replied gladly. After all, this was the woman I loved, and this might be the perfect moment to do whatever normal couples do. She unlocked her apartment and we went in. And as I followed her in, things began to heat up. She put her hands on my shoulders and started biting her lips. I remembered how we had numerous conversations about sex before, but could never end up doing it. She pulled me closer and then led the way to her bedroom while kissing me madly. I thought to myself, maybe this is the night. We locked the room, hurried to the bed, kissing each other while she unbuttoned my shirt and threw it on the floor. And then she took off her pink t-shirt, revealing her black bra. It was stitched with black lace. I could not help but ask, "Isn't that lace uncomfortable in this hot weather?" She seemed dumbfounded. "Seriously?" she shouted while gazing at me with surprise. I mumbled, "Yeah, never mind, I was just kidding." And I went back to kissing her. Slowly, she went down on me. I closed my eyes and thought about all that my friends told me. "Hey man, it will feel like amazing, like it's heaven and blah blah blah, all of that." But I didn't feel even a bit of the satisfaction I was told about. I kind of pushed her away and sat up. She looked confused. "Baby, am I not doing it right?" I just nodded and said, "I need to go, babe," and I stood up. My brain said, "What the fuck are you doing?" But that is what I felt like doing at that point of time. Why? I didn't have any answers back then. She began to cry and shouted at me, but I could not face her even for a moment. I don't know if it was shame or disgust or fear, or even if that feeling had a name. I walked out and drove back home. I switched on my cell and I saw a long text from her saying how she was irritated with me and she had enough of me and wanted to end things between us. Well, I didn't get a chance to say anything as she had blocked me already. A part of me wanted to go back to her and console her and apologize, while another part of me wanted to shout and scream out of disgust. Disgust for what? I guess disgust for my own self. I ended up crying myself to sleep that night. I could not understand how can a normal man not want sex, because I never came across any man like that. Days passed and the confusion in me started to turn into self-hate. As my colleagues and friends discussed their sex life, I felt so out of place. I always left such conversations, and that increased my disgust and confusion even more. When my best friend asked me about what happened that night, I could not tell him anything. While on the other hand, I heard how my ex-girlfriend ridiculed me in front of her friends and how I've become a topic of hot gossip for many people. Even our common friends started to talk about it, and each and every question that they shot at me felt like a bullet on my self-esteem. I was exhausted and terribly hurt. Finally, one day, I decided to tell my best friend everything. I told him what happened that night, and surprisingly, he laughed. He said, "Did you try out your luck with guys?" I was confused. "What?" "Yeah, it might be so that you're gay, right? I was speechless. I came back home, thought about it a lot, and after gathering up a lot of courage, downloaded Grindr. Generally, I started swiping and talking to a lot of guys. Honestly, I gelled with many of them. Then one day, I met this really cool guy and our conversation lasted overnight. It was amazing, and we decided to meet. We met at a bar and partied like crazy. As we got back into his car, he came closer to me. I felt immensely awkward. I pushed him away. "You are like a buddy, man," I blurted out. He was shocked. He said, "You make buddies on Grindr?" He was furious and he kicked me out of his car. I was heartbroken. I came back home and cried my heart out once again. I couldn't understand what was wrong with me. I hated myself. I wanted to die. But somehow, I stopped myself from taking such an impulsive decision. I thought about exploring more about who I am. I realized I was never much into masturbation or porn. While my guy friends used to talk about magazines that they saw or the videos that they downloaded, I could never be a part of those conversations. I was kind of different from every other guy since forever, I guess. I searched and searched and searched until I came across the ace community. I talked to a few people and realized how similar I was to them. I finally understood who I am. I am an asexual guy. It's difficult to comprehend this matter as not many people know about it. I do fall in love. I realized how much I loved my ex-girlfriend. But sex? That doesn't interest me. I don't like being touched in a sexual way, neither do I feel like touching anyone that way. I am asexual, but I can love and date. It took me a long time to accept myself, but unfortunately, I can never come out as who I am. I really fear that I will be an outcast for this society. And probably, I have to take my identity to my grave. So, that was the first episode of Secret Stories. Let me know about your thoughts regarding this guy. What do you think will happen if he decides to come out? Will his friends accept him? Will he ever find a partner to live with? Let me leave you with these questions. Alright, I hope you liked this episode, and if you did, please like, share and subscribe and leave a comment if possible. I'll see you guys in the next one.